This is the season for losers, or at least those who feel like losers. For those who have lost their passion, attempted to find themselves again, and fallen into the abyss of the unknown. I'm most definitely talking about myself. However, if this applies to you, then by all means make the claim. My semester has finally come to an end, the first of my postgraduate, and the sky is once again blue, and the sun shines like we know all its secrets, and it has nowhere left to hide. I've been feeling rather despondent lately, unable to get a grasp on the things that once stimulated me intellectually. This is probably because of all the school and work, that has consumed my waking life and is somehow making me feel like an imposter of my own choices. I am trying to understand the science of what makes me feel like I don't know what I'm doing even when I'm doing it. I have a confession. Even though I am doing a postgraduate degree in psychology, I still have no idea what I'm doing or if I even enjoy it. I tell myself I've made it this far, so I should be proud, which is what other people tell me. I don't believe I am necessarily smart because I have accomplished this level of study, but rather I'm just doing what has to be done. I feel a sense of apathy to my accomplishments, but not the lack of joy for my perseverance. Most times I am just happy it's over. I'm just happy it's come to an end and it's wrapped up. And what I was doing, what I had tasked myself to do, is complete. I do recognize the trials and tribulations of each step that it took to get me here. I'm not so ungrateful and lacks a sense of self-awareness that I wouldn't feel a sense of joy to my motivation and to my ability to complete something. But whether my accomplishments define my character, I don't believe so. More so, it's my resilience that is defining of my character. I believe most of what I have done in life, helping people at work, completing degrees, organizing events in community, expressing myself creatively, I don't necessarily believe that the act in itself is unique to me, because it's obviously not. But I suppose my ability to keep going even when I felt like I couldn't. I've gone on a tangent, but I suppose it is relevant. I think it's important to explain and break down why I think about myself the way I think about myself, because I don't think I'm the only one who thinks this way about the things that they do. At least it'd be rather absurd if I was. I am rather apathetic to my career and education, not because of the privileges they allow me in the game of manufactured scarcity, but because I know there is more to this, and that is what truly terrifies me. That I simply succeed at doing what is expected rather than what is true to me. I don't know what other people dream about, but I know many of them dream to accomplish some of the things that I have done, and that is beautiful. But like many people, I want to spend my time basking in the sun, pondering the beauty of asymmetry, color, poetry, art, food, culture, faith, and all that is never fully captured in the human expression. I don't really understand how most people could not want that. Although I could understand how people are convinced into thinking they don't desire that because of this game of manufactured scarcity known as life. Other people have done a really good job at convincing us that all we want is what is shown to us rather than what we can dream of. And maybe that's what scares them, is that even with all of these limitations and barriers, there are still so many of us that dream of a better world. A world where love and joy is at the root of all things. This desire may seem silly and juvenile to the outside observer who has been conditioned to accept the limitations of what they said life is. I know how I sound to most people. It used to bother me, but not anymore, because I have no desire to be liked or tolerated anymore. I broke that spell when I experienced a level of burnout that I didn't believe was possible. A type of burnout that makes you regress when you go on your healing journey. A type of burnout that requires you to relearn how to do things that once seemed easy because you realize you no longer have to suffer in pretending like you know what you're doing or forcing yourself to be one way. Now, because you have grace and compassion for yourself, you suddenly have to learn how to do things by applying that lens. And that's an entirely unique journey. And if you are going through that journey, just know you are not alone. I'm with you in spirit, like many others are. And I hope that me saying I see and recognize that you're not alone in that feeling, because I too have felt that offers a level of comfort that you may have been unknowingly searching for. Work and school drained me for a good 13 weeks, even though life kept on moving. Dinners still had, events still attended, and tasks still completed. As if in a disassociative state, it is only after the last assessment is handed in do I feel like I can breathe and be myself again. I do not know if these musings are a typical student and employee, but they are mine. They are my musings. I was already disconnected from the world, doing a series of repetitive tasks and assignments for comparative marks. I drowned myself in social media as a form of escape and longed for days I used to be a creator and not a consumer. But there is hardly a time to live your own life in between classes and shifts, so you watch others. It's a toxic cycle that school and work do to you. Now, I urge you not to be mad at yourself for not being able to juggle it all and still be true to your creative expression. We are manipulated to draw our attention away from our spirit. It's how the system feeds itself. Life is a series of seasons I've come to discover, each one different from the last, but essential to the process. Our choices are a window into what the next season will be. Mine right now is to not discourage myself from all that I have achieved, even when I was wanting to do other things at that time. But there is only so much pressure we can allow ourselves to take. What I am grateful for is the decision that I get to make to enter into a new season, one of creation and bloom. Because what this season has shown me is what I can build when I lock in and concentrate. And now is the time for that. Because there is no better time than now, even when now felt untouchable and inconceivable. The now will always be present. Thank you for listening.